Hello and welcome to the Capture the Bomb podcast. I'm Crabbo and I'm joined again by Craig.
That's me.
And we're going to bring you some news. After a really long, awkward pause. Craig, do you want to start?
Now, I kind of want you to start with this.
Okay, so
I'm not even sure what to describe it.
you might have seen on Reddit already. It is the Playdate. It is a small handheld game console being brought out. And yeah. So it's got a little non-backlit screen. I will try and sell you on this. It's got a D-pad, it's got a B button, an A button at the top right which does something, and a crank.
I'm just at a loss for words for this thing. Like, I'm looking at it and it's just, I don't know who they're trying to sell this to.
Well, obviously people who want to crank one out while they're playing.
Like I said, I've got nothing. I'm just looking at this thing and I'm just speechless. Like, I don't know who wants to buy this.
So,
I
follow quite a few game collectors on Twitter, and quite a few of them were excited for it. So they're the same people that were excited for like things like the N-Gage and other things.
Or the Ouya.
Ouya not as much, because that was more... they probably do have Ouyas. But yeah, Ouya was a bit of a failure.
Yeah.
So this is Ouya 2, the handheld edition.
That's basically what I'm getting from it.
So it costs $149 US. Yeah, and it's basically a subscription. So you get your console, and it has like a game or two on it, and then every few weeks or whatever, they put another game onto the console for you, but don't tell you what the game is going to be.
I feel like this could have been done so much better without this specialized hardware and ridiculous concept.
Yeah,
that's just me though.
Yeah, it'll go down in history as probably like a little novelty. I mean, given the price of it is kind of ridiculous for like what you are getting, because you could...
I mean, looking at like the type of game that's on there too, that does not seem like I want to spend $150 plus a subscription.
Yeah.
To essentially just play that.
Yeah, and you can pick up like a 2DS or something much cheaper and have like a much better lineup of games on it.
Yeah.
It's one for the collectors.
Yeah. So, moving on. What's really excited me about the last week or two what has been the WoW Classic beta. So,
yay.
I mean, as you know, I was a huge WoW nerd. Started in vanilla, played all the way up until the Pandas expansion, where I felt that the game lost a lot of its soul. And I'm excited for this because it's realistically, there is not an MMO out right now that really had the same type of, playstyle and community feel that the original World of Warcraft had.
So, what is different between WoW now and WoW then? So, like, what is WoW Classic?
WoW Classic is going back all the way to 2004 when it originally came out.
Right.
It's starting on patch 1.12.1. And they are going to release content like they did originally back then. But it's essentially just going all the way back, removing pretty much all the features that they've added over the past, 15 years or so.
So is this
and just going back to square one.
So is it basically like a rerun?
A bit, yes. And so here's the thing, though. They talked about this at BlizzCon. They're planning for more they want to do this for the long term. Because if you think about it, Blizzard has kind of reached market saturation for the people that they can bring into WoW now.
Yeah.
But the people that they can get back are the veterans who left because they didn't like the direction the game went. And so all they have to do is start up these servers.
Hey guys, we've got this thing for you if you'd just like to kindly relapse and come back.
That's essentially how it is.
We'll put it back to how it was.
Well, there was a different feel back then when playing World of Warcraft. Like, you actually, you grouped up with someone and you added them to your friends list. And you played with them again later because you were probably going to see them again as you were leveling. but there was a sense of community that just isn't prevalent in the current state of WoW. Because it feels like it's become a massively multiplayer, single-player game, where everyone just does their own thing in their own little instance, and then you occasionally group up with one another. Whereas this is a return to form in how it was. And I'm excited because this time I'm going to be doing the 40-man raids. I've already got a guild lined up, and I'm excited for it. You know, I've said since the Panda expansion, you know, I want to go back. I want to go do all the old stuff again.
Yeah, I can get the kind of the excitement behind it. Like the only kind of MMO.
I mean, it's been dominating Twitch right now. Like you got people like Soda Popping who have been getting like 60,000 people a day usually just watching him play the beta.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I totally get like wanting to kind of go back to playing the game that you kind of used to play in the kind of the same way.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if I could like, you know, do a whole rewind switch on like Halo 3 or something. And jump back and play on that. Yeah. Have you got another news for us?
I think you've got one more, and then I'll do my last two. Since they're my last two are relatively short, so let's do yours.
Okay, so a Nintendo eShop game was pulled.
I think I saw that.
Yeah. So the game was called A Dark Room, and it was a role-playing text-based game. About 2 weeks after launch, the developer revealed that they included a secret code editor into the game.
I mean, I can see why Nintendo would pull it after that. I mean, that's
so
you don't want that because I believe that they would allow, you know, options for people who create like custom ROM software to have an entry point into the Nintendo APIs and all that.
Yeah, it's basically why it was like the so a user could go in and make like a very simple program in there, and it was used to kind of like try and get people into coding like in a simple way. But I can totally agree with why like Nintendo would want to not have that on their system. As soon as that system gets cracked, that's when it loses a lot of value.
You have to abstract that away from the core Nintendo APIs and that.
Yeah, I remember like the PSP was quite a fight between like homebrew people and.
I mean, it's always going to be a fight. There's always going to be people finding a way to make it work in a way that's not meant to.
Yeah, but at the same time, it'd be cool if like. Kind of moving away from that, if this developer could like think about trying to create a code-based game to kind of get people into coding, kind of like make it so it's not necessarily like
that's what I was talking about, like abstract it away so that it's running these predefined functions using Nintendo APIs under the hood, but you're essentially creating your own little programming language to kind of teach people.
Yeah, that'd be cool, especially.
Or even then, they could do something like what the game engines have been doing recently, where it's like a visual scripting type thing.
Yeah, definitely. It would just get more people into coding because coding is.
Well, yeah, because that's the hard part of it is, you know, people just looking at text all day really turns them off. So if you give them something visual to work with, where they can see like where the lines are going, where thing like logic branches off, I think then you can get them to understand a bit more.
Yeah, even like I've done, you know, programming before, and it is my job. Like jumping into the Unreal Engine 4, and then kind of learning how to do code in that, doing the blueprint method where it was just basically flowchart programming, got me into like
that's just visual scripting. That's you know what I'm talking about.
It got me to like making things a lot quicker than like learning syntax and rules and stuff. So yeah, so.
All right, so my last two items. Division Raid launched earlier this week, and if you look at the subreddit, it's been a bit of a disaster. So the raid is tuned a bit high, and I think the part of that comes from the way the game is, where I feel there's too much RNG because 99% of the time you're getting items that you're just throwing away, hoping for that 1% item that will be good for your build, or your theoretical build. And on top of that, there was no matchmaking for the raid, which really annoyed a lot of people because, I mean, no one wants to be part of these mega 50-person clans where no one knows each other. Everyone's just doing their own thing,
How many people go into a raid?
8. So you have to get 8 people who have proper builds and know what they're doing together. And, I mean, that's a bit hard. Especially with how high tuned the raid is.
Yeah. What do you actually fight in this raid?
So, I haven't looked a lot into it because I'm waiting for them to see if they're going to tune it down a bit. But you're just fighting waves of enemies and some very armored bosses.
Right. Okay.
And you also have to have different teams doing different tasks, from what I understand. But I think the no matchmaking with the 8 people was a mistake.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Not Wildlands, Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yeah.
Where they're also going to have raids in that, but it's just going to be 4-person. So I've already got pretty much a team for that game.
Am I included?
I mean, if you want to.
So that's no.
But
you just gotta be on change my plans.
I mean, we have a 4th spot open. We just need someone who plays around the time we are.
Oh.
And then the last one, which I think we are both excited about, Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare?
No, just Warfare.
Oh. Have you seen, like, So, they're calling it Call of Duty Modern Warfare, apparently.
Yes.
The first one was called Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Yes.
And I think on the PS3, it was called Modern Warfare 2. Not Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
I don't remember.
And then we had Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Yes.
And now we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yes.
Fuck your numbers.
I mean, if you want to say that, look at the Battlefield franchise.
It's a confusing sequel line because you start with 1, you go to 2.
See, here's
3,
my
4,
thoughts on it.
V, because now there's letters. Then 1942.
You forgot 1.
Yeah, Battlefield 1. And then there's 1942. Was it Battlefield 1941? No.
No, there's 1943 on the Xbox, I believe.
Then it jumps so many sequels to 2112 or something like that.
2142, which that's a year, okay? Because it's a futuristic shooter. Okay, I'm not gonna have you slander one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, but Battlefield 1943 was a decent game.
Back to COD. I don't care what they call it, as long as it's a return to how it was in the COD 4 / Modern Warfare 2 games, because I feel like they've just added too much. I don't like heroish Overwatch system that they have, where these characters have special abilities and there's these pickups on the map and all that. I want to go back to where it's just running gun, skill based.
Yeah, if they can bring it back to the kind of simplicity of the first game and have a campaign that actually interests you, because the COD 4
I don't care about the campaign. I just want to shoot people online.
Well, yeah, that's fun,
actually granted. I did enjoy the Modern Warfare series storyline.
Yeah, it was great because you wanted to play it because it was a good story. Black Ops for me was just a mess. And I didn't really like playing it, and I didn't really care about.
See, I never really got into the Black Ops story.
Yeah, it just.
The last one I cared about the story was what was the one with Kevin Spacey? Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, that story was it was okay, but it was also at the same time very COD tropey. Where,
yeah, I mean that was the start of their decline, in my opinion.
Yeah, here's your friend. Oh, he's dead. Oh no. And while
have to pay respects.
it did spawn that, so good on them. The COD 4, if anyone died in the story, it held a bit more weight.
It's true when Who was the character that died? Was that Price, I believe?
Spoilers. It wasn't Price. It was Soap.
It's
Well, no, Soap died in one of them, and Gaz
no.
died in another. Did Price die?
Well, we thought he died, and then we found him in the gulag in Modern Warfare
Oh yeah,
2.
he got like shot in the fucking face, and then was in a gulag.
Yeah.
Must have bounced off the mustache.
Probably.
Yeah. So, I believe that is the news.
The end of the news.
So now we're coming to our main topic of the day, which is LAN parties. Now we've both compiled a little list of like our own little stories in LAN parties, and I want to add one in a technicality.
What's that?
I want to go back to like 1999 or 2000.
Go on. Oh, actually, yeah, okay, I can get on board with this.
It's not on PC, so it's a technicality. It was using two PlayStation 1s with a link cable.
Could you do that with the PlayStation 1?
Yes.
I thought it was the PlayStation 2.
The PlayStation 1 has a link cable. You plug it in the back. I think it was only on.
Oh, was this the like re-release small one or like the OG like
the fat one?
I kind of want to go grab mine off the shelf and see this because I never knew about this.
The port is back there. So you plug in your link cable.
You know, hold on, I'm gonna go look at this.
Right. If I had intermission music, I'd be playing this for you right now.
Okay.
Okay.
So I've got my OG PlayStation 1, you know, the big fat gray one.
Yeah.
So let's see, I see Serial IO,
That's the one.
AV multi.
Oh no, the serial IO is it the big fat one?
It looks almost like the AV.
Yeah, serial IO. That's the link cable.
Huh.
Mind
I never
blown.
knew this.
So, friend came over, brought a TV. We had two PlayStation 1s, and we had the copy of Command and Conquer Red Alert on the PS1. That came with two discs. Put the GI disc in one and put the Nod disc in the other. You can have them play against each other.
Well then. See, I want to go back to the 90s just for one game, GoldenEye.
Does that count? Did you LAN it?
Well, I mean, it wasn't really LAN, but so I always had my friends over playing that game, and it was like my first foray and what got me into first-person shooters.
Yeah.
So I say it gets an honorable mention.
I'll allow it.
So
See,
jumping forward.
Yeah, I think like LANing and stuff didn't really like take off more on consoles until like kind of the generation after those consoles.
You mean where we're about to start talking?
Yes.
Okay. The year was 2004. George Bush was in the White House.
Have we only gone back to 2004?
I mean, that's pretty much the first items on our list.
Yeah, 2004. Like, I didn't have an Xbox. My friends had an Xbox, and we would, go around to his house and would like have a couple of Xboxes out and have Halo 2. We'd be playing things like Zombies on Foundation. That was kind of like my like taste of Halo multiplayer to begin with.
See, maybe freshman year of high school, someone started this Xbox club where it was literally just Halo Club, where we went into the AV room. We had people bring in a bunch of Xboxes, and we did like full 16-player games.
Question.
And if we had more than that, we do co-op. All right, go ahead.
The original Xbox is a heavy bastard.
Yes.
What kids were bringing those in?
Mostly the people that were running
like
the club.
Chucking them in backpacks or stuff? Like you.
I mean, I brought mine in because I've eventually had two Xboxes, one with a mod chip and one that I actually played online with. And I would bring the modded one to our game club at the time, and I would just carry it around with me all day. I'd have it in a separate bag. It would just be there with me all day. And yeah, we set it up.
Might as well just carry an anchor around.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I would lock it in my band locker.
So, back in school, for some reason, around 2005, we'd all be in IT doing our GCSEs. Was pretty crap because the GCSE basically covered was learning how to use Microsoft Office. So that's
Sounds about right.
yeah. So for some reason we discovered that the Halo PC demo was on all the PCs in the school.
Oh god.
So as any normal group of kids would do, fat LAN. So we could only play Free For All and Blood Gulch. So, we'd be like alt-tabbing as the teacher would be walking around the room to make sure that they didn't see us playing and stuff.
This is the age before they had the screen monitoring stuff, I assume.
They may have had screen monitoring stuff, but
it was too cheap to get
it. Probably. I mean, it was too cheap to take Halo PC off all of the PCs.
Fair enough.
Yeah, basically, it kind of started getting a bit out of hand. We'd be playing, and someone would be in a Banshee, then someone would run up to the PC and pull the power cable out of the monitor. The teacher quickly clicked on to what was going on after stuff like that started happening. But yeah, it was highly competitive. I think if we ever got a break in classes, we would do double business studies or whatever. We had a 10-15 minute break in the middle where we were just allowed to do whatever. So we were okay, let's jump on Halo.
Yeah, our school was a bit more locked down with that. But around 2005, we started getting organized with a after-school club on Fridays where, we would play games. People would bring in their consoles, and we'd set up in the library with a bunch of TVs and, just playing there. And I would be one to kind of bring in the Xbox/Halo stuff. So I'd bring in my modded Xbox. We'd play, some custom maps I'd downloaded or just some ridiculous settings.
See, I wish I'd had that kind of stuff at school, because that actually does sound pretty fun.
It was, and that was pretty much it for me through high school until I went to college in 2007, where there was again another organized night, a bit more organized. So we always had computer labs because I was a computer science student. And what we would do every Saturday is we would take over a good majority of the computer labs, and we had games set up on a network share to install during the week. And they would pick out a game that we mainly played during the night. So it could be Battlefield 1942, Diablo 2, COD 4, and some other stuff. And people would bring in some other stuff. We'd set up in one room with maybe a few consoles if people didn't want to play, Diablo 2 or anything like that. And then as the night went on, people would just kind of go off into their own games. But it was still just one giant LAN party.
Nice. See,
it was every Saturday. We'd order pizza.
So that just kind of reminded me of one of the ones that I'd done, which was for my friend's birthday, we did a all-nighter at the cyber cafe. So there was a gaming computer cafe in town, and we'd turn up at 6 or whatever, and then we'd be there until 6 a.m. in the morning, just playing games, and they would serve us food.
See, we never really had that over here in the U.S. I mean, there were cyber cafes, but I mean, they never really took off.
So I didn't really know much about PC gaming when we went to play it. So we were kind of learning how to play I think it was Battlefield 1942, was it? Where you could there was one map where there was the boat, and you would spawn on the boat, and then you would do a beach landing.
I believe that's Wake Island 1942. Yes.
It wasn't Wake Island.
You
could spawn on the boat, but you could drive the boat.
It's been many years since I played 1942, so I don't really remember.
I just remember driving the boat and then getting it stuck. I think there was usual Counter-Strike and whatever, and people would start chucking smoke grenades, and then like we had like this one massive guy like shouting at the other one massive guy like, "Stop fucking chucking smoke." Because while all
But I
the
mean,
PCs
that's the
were
whole
at
point
like
of Counter
2,
Strike is to cut off alleyways with smoke.
yeah, but we're all at 2 FPS. We couldn't move. That was the problem.
Get better PCs.
We didn't buy them. But it was like, like 2004, 2005's greatest PCs. So it was like had like blue LEDs in and all
I mean,
that.
that's where those cyber cafes kind of cut some money was, on the PC specs. So you're obviously not going to be playing some games the best that they can.
Yeah. I do remember that, like, it was December 2005. I remember that because they had, like, a brand new Xbox 360. We were giving that a go as well. Like, oh, wow, the graphics. OMG. Hey, I think
You look at the Xbox 360 now, though, and it's like, God, this is just trash.
But if you look at the launch games compared to the games that kind of came out near the end, or even something like Halo Reach, they did get as much out of it as they possibly could.
Well, yeah, because over time you learn like where you can save some optimizations.
Yeah, like the first game that I ever played on the Xbox 360 was the multiplayer of Perfect Dark Zero.
For me, it was Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter.
And like looking at those games now, they look a bit old compared to what came out near the end. Like we had like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 was on that. Just
even then, Battlefield 3 still didn't look as good as it could.
Oh yeah, like I was like even just today I was looking at all the footage I've got from the Battlefield 3 like 360 days, and I've got the same for playing it on PC, and it's pretty significantly different. But that generation like just dragged on for way too long.
It did. Well, because the consoles just weren't profitable. Like they were selling those at a loss for the longest time.
Yeah, but they also came out with like much higher specs. So like I think as we got into this, I think last week, like the consoles that would come out next time would be sold at a loss as well, unlike the ones like the Xbox One and PS4, which kind of were sold slightly at profit.
Yeah.
So they were kind of underpowered compared to what they could have been. So it'll be interesting to see what the next generation brings.
We'll see.
So 2007 was a biggie.
Yeah, that was kind of the end of it, though, because that's when the prevalence of, Xbox Live and just online just really started to come into play.
That's where it kind of kicked off for me, though, because after I started playing it online, I wanted to get people that I was playing it online with in the same room, because it just kind of like it became a more fun experience. So like
it did, and like these days we don't really do it that often. Like for myself, it's usually a couple times a year that we'll get some people together and do like a proper local game of like Halo or something like that. Like July 4th, we'll set up a couple Xboxes, do some old school Halo runs.
Because that it's kind of an occasion as well, because like for one, it's an excuse to see your friends. Two, you get some great games out of it. You put on some food, some beer, and whatever.
I mean, we're older now, so we know more responsibilities than when we did when we were kids.
Yeah, becoming an adult, you kind of realize you've got no time.
Yep. Time, energy, money. Pick two.
Yeah, I never get to pick money. I never get to pick energy either.
That's how it feels.
Time's picked for me. So 2007, Halo 3 came out. About a few weekends afterwards, I managed to get 16 people into my house. Parents were off doing work on a Saturday or whatever. I can't remember where they were, they just weren't in the house. 16 people in a semi-detached house in the north of England. It was full.
I can imagine.
I also remember like ordering a case of Mountain Dew for that event, because like Mountain Dew wasn't a thing in the UK at that point. And I kept hearing stories about like how Americans drank Mountain Dew and it was like the national drink of gamers over there. So I was like,
It wasn't.
well, to me it was.
It's stereotypes.
Well, yeah, because people from outside the US only see stereotypes. That's why GTA is what GTA is. That's what everyone else thinks America is. That's what I think America is.
But you've been here.
And that's what I think it is. Like we drove past a real estate agent that also does haircuts. Like, tell me how that's a normal practice.
I don't remember seeing this, so I'm gonna choose to disregard that.
I will show you the picture.
The only Mountain Dew I will accept is the Halo 3 game fuel, because that shit went good with vodka.
I remember Orange Coke being the drink when Halo 3 came out. And I was sad because I really liked it, but you can only get it in freestyle machines now.
I mean, you can get the orange vanilla.
What?
Is that not a thing over there?
No.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting very off topic here, but there's been this whole thing of, you know, the new Coke flavor, orange vanilla.
Okay, I'm interested.
I mean, you can try it. I tried it. It's meh.
Well, see, like, Pepsi brought out a ginger flavor here, and it was ridiculously bad.
That sounds ridiculously bad.
Yeah, like, you drink it, and you're like, I regret drinking this. It's like, it doesn't taste like a drink should taste like.
Here.
A little. So, yeah, Halo, like, 16 people in one house playing Halo was a great experience. Like, we had, like, I had a pretty big living room that kind of, like, stretched into the kitchen, like, kind of open plan, so it was kind of decent that we had enough kind of chairs and everything to kind of get people around. But there were some of like the better games. I remember doing a similar thing, like not as many people, but for Halo Reach.
See, I've never gotten to that number of people. Most I've had is like maybe 8 or so.
I mean, like 16 was an absolute stretch. Like we had like friends of friends coming around. And,
yeah.
Or some people that weren't necessarily into gaming as much, but were there kind of, you know, because
socialize.
Everyone else was there. Yeah, they were just like, you know, the ones to feed all the kills.
You gotta have some. Well, I mean, that's what happens kind of on New Year's. It's become like a little tradition with me and a few friends. So it's usually about 4 or 5 of us, and we'll split off into teams of 2 for some Halo 2 or 3. And we start off with just the 2 people who are really good at Halo on one team. And then we make it more fair for the rest of the night. But we just want that one game where we go 50-0 or 51. It was a slaughter this last year because I believe I went 29-0 on TDM. And my buddy went 21-2, I think it was, because he just got into some spots where he had like no nades to throw at them. It was just a fun little slaughter, though.
You just gather your friends around your house just so you can dick on them, like. Well,
I mean, it's kind of a New Year's tradition of, you know, we get that one game and then we make it more fair, and we swap people in and out.
See, I remember also doing kind of like another kind of LAN party around like just after I finished uni. Had people come around mine. It got to the point where we weren't just like just playing Halo. We were playing like all the other games as well. So like we played a bit of Rainbow Six Vegas 2 if we could, because it wasn't as good at split screen. Like Halo was perfect, you know, fire 4 people on one screen and then, you know, bring another Xbox in, fire 4 on there. So
yeah, you don't really see like a lot of LAN parties these days. I mean, the most you see them now is at conventions like PAX East.
So one thing I did get is like to get people to bring their like PCs or laptops around to mine, and we put like Age of Empires 3 on all the PCs, and then just had like I think it was 4 or 5 of us playing. Like I walled myself in because that's what I do. Had like 3 or 4 layers of wall. And I realised that no one was attacking me. So I was like, okay, this is good. I'll just turtle up and then build up all my defenses. And then all two of my friends were attacking one of my other friends, and they thought that friend was me. So they wiped him out. He like escaped and then made a tiny little community in the corner of the map with like some lumberjacks. He was basically out of the game, just trying to cling to life. And then I realized like my base was next to the person who was destroyed. I bring out like all of my army because I'm like, okay, mate, there seems to be a fight going on out here. Let me get involved. And kind of walked through the opposing enemies. It was only after that I realized that my howitzers were still stuck in my wall system. Because I made it that complex. It was just full of gates and walls. I'm like, oh shit, it's I can't even get out of my own base. Oh, that was the one that had like a train track as well.
Never played the game, so I'm not really sure.
Have you not played Age of Empires 3?
Nope.
It was like Age of Empires 2.
Never got into those games.
It was like Age of Empires 2, only not as good.
Never played Age of Empires 2.
Oh, 2 was great. Like the HD remake was brilliant. Like it just gave me an excuse to play an old game again. So yeah, like I want to do more gaming LANs. Like I've got more games for that now. Things like Smash, that is brilliant for like playing.
Yeah, I think Smash has kind of revitalized the local playing on a local system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens because I believe Halo is bringing back split screen with Halo Infinite.
Yeah, I'm kind of want to do a LAN for that. Try and like get anyone back that ever used to play it. The old reunion.
I'm excited because we usually do LAN co-ops for story. So
oh, that'd be cool.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So that was a brief look into our LAN history, and kind of we got off topic with our drink choices.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah, it would go to more. Yeah, it would go to more towards beer. I can't speak. Have I drank beer?
Are you drinking beer right now?
No. I'm drinking
Are you sure?
imitation Monster Energy, courtesy of Aldi.
Aldi, for when you want to get drunk, but you don't want to.
What was it like a? What was that beer you had? It was like a Heineken ripoff. That was just like it was just called. A
So
beer.
my buddy found one called Holland 1839, where it has the taste of Heineken, but it doesn't get you drunk.
It's the perfect beer. Maybe
for when you want a Heineken, but you gotta drive in 5 minutes.
Oh boy. Hey, maybe we can get them to like sponsor us.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Right. Well, this has been a bit off topic.
This has been interesting.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening. End. Scene.
Oh God.